Drama! Action!
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Tribe of Nerds Total Drama Action. Devin, Ryan, Joe, and then Brandon will be joining us later. We're all here to talk about the first 6 episodes of the second season of Total Drama. This is crazy. We finished season 1 and now we're on season 2. What do you guys think of these 6 episodes compared to like all of Total Drama Island? Because it's definitely a different feel. Devin's already.
Yeah.
I mean, all right. So my thing is they take basically what would be considered the main characters plus like 2 random pre-merge or like 2 people that didn't get as much screen time in the past, Justin and Beth.
Right.
And it's like, well, they're going to mix up the order a little bit. So some main characters go home early. And I feel like the thing is with these first 6 episodes, especially like episode 2 onward, it's just the downfall of Trent, the cool guy that lost his cool.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh, dang, it's just kind of like sad to watch.
Yeah, it's really sad. I mean, Joe has the number 9.
Yeah, I mean, it is the worst storyline probably in Total Drama besides Mal and All the Stars. I think that maybe is worse, but man, they just really just said, remember Gwen and Trent? They were like main characters season 1. Well, fucking Trent's now crazy. Haha.
Yeah.
I feel like this is like the first major example of like them grasping at straws to like make a character interesting and provide a storyline. It just the first 5 episodes are just rough ride for me. I think that this is a rough group of episodes because it is the downfall of Trent saga, and a lot of other characters just kind of stand around for the most part.
Yeah. They really derail Trent. They really make Jeff and Bridget do nothing except make out, which is just like, and then they're the hosts of the Aftermath show. So it's like they don't do anything with them. I think there's a couple interesting storylines maybe that could have been better. I mean, like the whole DJ with Chef thing could have been something that they did more with, and they don't do enough with it. Obviously we'll start talking about that this week, but yeah, I think the standouts of this week, as we'll get to as we go through the episodes, but Harold is really good in this, and I mean, like, we'll mention so many funny lines from Harold. Owen's pretty good. I'm trying to think of anybody else that really stood out in a positive way.
Strong group of episodes. Like, I think that this is like Heather's, like, we obviously know when she gets her full redemption, but like this was like the start of like Heather technically has like correct strategy, like things like like she wants to do like an assembly line to get things up the hill. Like there's moments where it's almost like we're now starting to like people's opinions of Heather are now like clouding even from her positive aspects, which is she's good at the game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Heather's gets some pretty positive stuff. I will say that. Like it's the logical step to take her after Island. Like
Yeah, I think she's good. I do like Justin. I think they at least use him much better in this season, where he's the prototype for Alejandro. Like they get the better version of him next season, but like this is that step into the very attractive strategist who's kind of trying to use his looks to manipulate women.
I was gonna say, to me, step up for Justin was literally like stepping from the base.
Yeah. But at least he's a character that you can remember from the season. You can easily forget him in season 1.
Oh yeah.
I think honestly, maybe Jeff and Bridget got the best for this season because like everybody else is going to be suffered through at least the first half of the season and being like motzing around doing nothing, and they at least just like kicked off early, and then they get their own little aftermath episodes where they get to shine as members. So maybe they got off lucky. We also I think that we need to hit on the first, like obviously Jeff and Bridget go first, but like the first person voted off, which is Izzy, where I think Izzy actually has a strong first 3 episodes for her, where she's really funny, and it's just kind of like abruptly ended, which is kind of
Yeah, I was gonna say like the first 3 episodes, she shines more consistently in those first 3 episodes than honestly season 1, because season 1 has like the spurts of funny Izzy and like here she is here or there, but she was like consistently good throughout action for those first 3 episodes, and then they're just like E-scope, you're out of here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say also the amount of people eliminated within the span that they had of the first 6 episodes, I'm like, oh wow, they're really going through things fast. Like it's the pacing of the show is probably the most interesting, because like they were like, oh yeah, Jeff and Bridget, they're out like episode 2 both together. We're getting a double for the first. Then we lose Izzy. We get a little break, and then we lose Trent. It was just like almost like whiplash with how fast we were losing people.
Yeah. I agree completely. It's weird. All right, so let's get into the episodes themselves now, and more specifically. So we start off episode 1, Monster Cash, the monster theme. I do like that Action has the movie theme. I think that's the strongest part of the season. And like as someone who loves movies, I love seeing them like kind of incorporate that into their challenges. I think that's the strongest asset that Action has over the other seasons.
Yeah, it definitely pulls you in, I think, right away. Like it's an interesting enough theme that makes you want to see like each week, what they're doing. But it only gets you so far.
Yeah, this is a good like the actual like premise of the challenges being themed around movies actually for me is the one really big highlight over Island, where it got a little and I think this first one, like, kind of starting with like what I would assume is like a Godzilla ripoff type of thing, and giving Owen kind of main character energy in this episode after his win, I think makes sense. And then obviously having him like completely do everything correctly and then screw up after he's won and is like, no, I want that crappy trailer that just got stepped on. Like kind of the best you can do for a first episode with this. I mean, like we've talked about, just in order to keep it interesting, but also like obviously like despite what they do later in this group, you can't just get rid of people so fast. So I think it works out for the best.
Yeah. Well, when we first get from the last episode, we see the 14 that make it, and they're thrown right into the monster movie challenge, which is it's a fun one. They're starting off on a high note, and I think it's like we get like, I don't think we really get some plot points like really set up here, except for Jeff and Bridget's like elimination, where they're just making out everywhere. They finally give more. I mean, like, I think that's one of the great things about Action is they flesh out Justin more. I will say they also flesh out Harold more, because like Harold, love him, but he was often like, just kind of like the weird guy, like the nerdy one on that one. And this one, we get to know like, oh, he goes to a lot of summer camps and he has a lot of neat skills and stuff like that. And then with this one, I will say it's messed up. They did him wrong. He was like, oh, he's too heavy to lift up from the monster. I'm just like, come on now. He's just like, I'm too fat.
I mean, par of the course for Total Drama to like basically, make their heavy set character be the butt of like every joke they can.
Yeah.
I mean, it does funny, I guess like, it depends on where your view of humor is, because like the fact that it couldn't pick him up is
it's great. I love it. I'll be honest, I forgot about it, but as like he was starting to get picked up, I was like, it'd be really funny if he couldn't do it, and then it happened. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I totally forgot about it, and it got me again. So I think Owen genuinely is really funny in these episodes. He's just good for a good gag. You just cut to him, and he's going to give you a funny line. He's going to give you a funny reaction. It's good.
Okay, so I do have a question for you all, because this also does kind of start setting up like what I call like the Katie and Sadie of this season. The fact that they literally almost like, I don't want to say they derail Beth and Lindsay, because they get their moments when they're apart, and probably at their best. But when these two are together, they're literally just Katie and Sadie all over again. Like,
yeah, I mean it's even worse because like they kind of become Justin's minions for the first half too. So it feels like they're just doing what they did with Heather, but now even to a bigger degree for Justin. And it's not great.
Well, actually, on the contrary, I'm like, it's one thing to learn your lesson from the last time, but to be so blinded by it to fall into the same trap again. Like they were expecting that they were so focused on not trusting Heather, everyone else is cool. They didn't realize the patterns that Justin was showing that, oh wait, he's in his own way the new Heather.
Yeah. And again, we continue the gag of Justin's hot, so everything, like including Chef playing the monster, thinks Justin's so hot that
honestly, as a kid I thought that was really funny. As an adult, I'm just like, it's kind of cringe having like the adults also talk about how attractive this 16-year-old kid
is.
Yeah, it definitely is cringe.
I was like, here we go. But I do think the thing is that I've noticed in this first episode is a lot of the characters get moments, like usually like one moment throughout this first episode to kind of shine, and then they're just kind of like waltzed into a balloon camp thing by the dinosaur, and then we don't really hear from them again. Yeah.
It's weird to me. Like this challenge is like, okay, by the end of it they are picking the trailers, but like I don't know, I did feel like this one was a little bit like the monster itself was kind of pointless at the end of the day. So but yeah, that's my gripe with the episode. Do we also get the end of this episode where Chris like wakes them up at like 5 a.m. and Owen like lets out the really big fart?
Did you hear about the movie theater in Columbia? Someone ripped it so bad that they had to clear it out. This was for Brand New Day.
Yeah, for Spider-Man. Yeah, I did.
No. But I think it was like, all right, it kind of gives us this episode succeeded in the vibe they're trying to give us, in the sense of like, all right, things are going to be crazier than it was season 1. They're going to take bigger leaps when it comes to what they're going to do. So I think it's an okay start to the to this season, but I don't think there's anything inherently like bad with it.
No, it's not. I'd have to look as we go through like premieres even, like, is this the worst premiere? And I definitely don't think it's the worst. There's enough fun to be had.
No.
This overall, I think this episode's like on par with like I'm trying to think of like an episode from season 1 that I would kind of like Up the Creek. They're fine episodes, like they're nothing too special, but like they have enough moments in them that they're at least memorable.
Yeah, people get like a little bit of funny jokes, like you can watch it and be fine. I don't think we had the derailment super bad in this premiere. It really happens in the next few episodes is when it starts happening. Yeah. But like overall, like they kind of just are like, here are the characters again. You can kind of be like, yay, it's cool to see these characters again.
Yeah. Well, let's get to episode 2, Alien Resurrection, as we start derailing Trent. Trent starts going crazy over instead, like their kind of relationship starting to continue because like Trent gets jealous of them. And I think there's some fun stuff still in the episode. I think it also has Izzy versus Chef, which is fun. Like we had that a little bit in Island, in like the Bridget's boot episode in Island, but like this is like even more like capitalizing on that, and I think like their feud is fun.
You saying that makes me realize that both times that they've done it, Bridget's eliminated that episode.
That is funny.
I think that this episode's like fun concept. Like concept, really fun, really cool, kind of interesting execution. It could have used some help. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I think that like there are funny moments. I mentioned before we started that I think when Beth's like, since I got my braces off, I don't make those sounds anymore. Like, it's really funny. Like, there's moments, but like overall, I think that this episode kind of for me gets derailed whenever he mentions it's a double elimination and we realize we're dropping from 14 down to 12 immediately. Right. And I feel, when I remember when watching it, I'm going to keep this show for 26 episodes if we're getting rid of people this fast.
Classical drama just got to bring people back.
It was a little, well, yeah, they did that quite a bit this season. But we'll get to that when we get to that. But it was kind of weird because I don't know if y'all remembered the promos going into this season where they would highlight like a certain character. Jeff and Bridget were highlighted together, and they were the only two highlighted together. So it was a little bit of a little hint to the audience. It was like, oh yeah, they're going to be booted out pretty early together and not really get stuff. So yeah, I think I do think they set up the downfall of Trent and Gwen pretty nice in this episode, where there's nothing like too crazy, and like there's even like a moment at the end where she's about to lose her necklace from the one Alien movie, and Trent goes out for it and stuff, and then things seem good here, and then the other like shocker is like, oh, they are the two captains that have to pick teams, so they have to be on other opposite things. So it's like, okay, it draws this like tension there. That is a highlight of the episode. I do agree, or I do think.
Yeah. Also, Owen, having to use the restroom and begging Chef to get hit so he can go, and he starts shaking his hand like, thank you, and then starts going as he's doing it. Hilarious comedy gold.
I do think that like this is really good for Harold, because, and the thing, we talked about it in the first episode, but like, here's why Harold's development works. We were set up from the moment he walked onto Island with him saying, this is going to be so much more favorable to my skills. So we are under the assumption that he has some quirky skills from the get-go. And when we get into Trent's quirks, they were never highlighted ever throughout the first season, and they just kind of come out of the blue. But like when Harold has a quirk, we're like, we were told he was kind of quirky. And so it works better. And I think that that's kind of why I think Harold kind of shines a lot throughout these episodes, because like every time Harold's on screen, I'm like,
yeah. Well, Trent's issue is like, it seems like he watched the movie Obsession and just, Gwen made a wish or something. And it backfired very wrong.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's kind of sad too, because it's like it's almost a night and day difference. I don't know, maybe because like the relationship just wasn't based off of secure foundation. I mean, and that's unfortunate fact of some showmances, they don't last. But this being obviously a cartoon, we have to see that drama unfold within season 2 of it. So yeah.
What were we gonna say, Devin?
I had something. If one of you want to talk,
yeah. So for me, I like some of the Harold moments. It might be in the next episode or two, but one of my favorite things is, of course, Magic Steve's Magic Camp, and we have Harold bouncing a card from his back pocket to his other back pocket. Like, amazing skills. He wasn't lying when he said that. So I love that. I do think Gwen and Trent being captains is a nice twist. I think it was the right direction to put them against each other. It's just that then the way they derailed Trent is not good for that. So like I would have liked to have actually seen kind of them not derail Trent and then like just like somehow make this like Trent versus Gwen thing last a little bit longer into the season.
I agree. I remember what I was going to say. Whenever we get to the elimination on this episode, I have some stuff to say.
Yeah.
If you all want to.
Yeah.
Everything's, at the end of the day, fine, since we know how this pans out. But it will never, ever make sense to me why the bottom 3 was Bridget, Jeff, and Lashana. I'm like, who the hell? Like, you're telling me Jeff and Bridget voted Lashana? Like, it would have made way more sense. Heather, right? Like, this should have.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make
sense. I
don't
know. That is the puzzling thing. Maybe they were doing it for dramatic tension. Because, like, oh no, did they vote out Lashana first? Maybe. But, like, yeah, they weren't going to do that. Because, Lashana was a very beloved character and still treated right.
Yeah. wasn't a
to this
single
day.
hint. There was not a single hint that Lashana was on the chopping. Like, I think Owen even would have made better sense. Like, he's at least like kind of a, you know, he won last season. He's kind of, you know, weird, or, you know, if he's farting everywhere, you know, like there's at least like a little bit of like, okay, maybe him, but Lashana made no sense.
Yeah.
100%. Well, let's get to episode 3, Riot on set, and we get Gwen and Trent picking their teams. We get the Screaming Gaffers and the Killer Grips. So, like, basically name variations or name changes to the original teams, which is okay. And, like, I for the teams, I mean, at first glance, I guess they'd probably be pretty even, but it appears that the Gaffers end up being the stronger team, the Grips end up being the Trainwreck tribe, as it were, this season.
Yeah, I mean, it's all because of Crazy Trent.
Yeah.
Well, they got it's crazy how this all started. Gwen just like is just going to go with like Duncan because it makes sense. And then Trent just goes crazy jealous because how dare she pick A, someone she's aligned with and pretty tight with, and B, a strong competitor in the game for her #1 draft pick. All right.
Yeah, so I'm going to pick.
Do what?
Yeah, the beautiful Lindsay.
The beautiful, yeah. And they both have like the quote in the confessional of like the beautiful or what was their quote? They say the same quote. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. It's like I can't remember what it is if you guys have it.
Well, no, like she's like when she gets the first one, she's like, I don't know, Duncan.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't even something like it's not like it didn't even like come across that she was like enthusiastic. It was like, I'm going with my boy Duncan, and then like his boy or her boy, what the hell? Like, you know, it's not like that. It's just like nonchalantly choosing, and then Trent's insecurities got the best of him, and you know.
Okay, so like Gwen's choices, Duncan, Lashana.
Yep.
And she chooses
they choose Heather, I think, right? Because Lashana's like
no, it has to be a guy, DJ.
Oh, it's DJ first.
Pretty nice. Big guy.
Like even Heather is a choice. Like these choices make sense. Trent is picking Lindsay, who's a known idiot. Justin, who was like the earliest boot on the cast.
He has muscles.
I mean, they're fake muscles.
And then is it Owen that he picks?
Yeah. Owen was picking his belly button lint.
Yeah. And doesn't pick up Harold's math skills.
To me, I was just like, okay, so like this is the main character team. This is like the Bad News Bears.
Yeah, okay. I take back my statement of the teams being even. The Grips are really the Bad News Bears, so they really were set up to be the train.
Yeah. Gwen was making right choices, and Trent was making choices that he thought would just like annoy Gwen or something. Like that was the only reason.
Like the thing I get also like I know like obviously it's a cartoon, but like wouldn't Harold be like in a top pick for most people in a normal like real life scenario? Like he won a lot of challenges for his team throughout the first. If they did that, like
I think it's all about social. I think he's just like so socially inept that people are always underestimate him, and that's kind of his charm for like the audience. But if you're like out there with someone like that, sometimes you're kind of just like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we also know that I feel like people. I know Duncan brings it up in episode 5, but like obviously Duncan's still pissed about the Courtney thing. I feel like other people looking at Harold are like, well, he rigged the votes to get Courtney out. Like people are probably still not trusting Harold because of that.
Well, I mean, I also feel like if we're looking at it from a strategy, she's able to pick her big 3 people first. All right, that's her core 3.
Yeah.
Heather's going to be an easy boot. So the other 2 guys, so like DJ and Harold are people that can be easily like kicked off. So strategy wise, she already had her 3. She was fine. And then she can, you know, go from there. Strategy. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brandon's here.
Hey there, Brandon.
Shalom, I made it.
What's up?
Apologies, I've been at an actual summer camp. Only a little less crazy than Wawanakwa.
Yes. So we just started talking about episode 3. So we just talked about the teams getting picked, and so now they are gonna carry the film equipment up the hill as Owen uses his belts while his pants are on the ground.
Comedy gold.
Owen. But the real comedy gold is, of course, that we're gonna get Izzy versus Duncan in an impromptu act against each other. It's acting a scene out. And they both get the script switched on them. So Duncan's talking like an old lady, Izzy's talking like a gangster, and you have Chef is gonna judge, and obviously this also sets up Chef cheating for DJ. So
yeah,
thoughts on this? This is a pretty big deal that one of the members of production is or one of the co-hosts basically is deciding to cheat with the player.
I think this was good. I think this was a good idea for a storyline execution.
Yeah.
As a storyline, I think putting a character as like morally rigid as DJ, like where he's like very like he doesn't bend, he just breaks type of thing, was smart. I think this was a good idea. I wish they would have done it a better way and kind of like set up Chef maybe in the first 2 episodes as like, I mean they kind of did hint that he's like underpaid and overworked in his in his mind.
Right.
Like I feel like we could have pushed it a little harder and then had this happen and then be like, oh, okay, so here's like one of the main.
Yeah, I'm glad they're giving Chef something to do. Like in the first season, he was like had so many funny moments, but he's just kind of second fiddle to Chris McLean. Am I echoing? Sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay,
you're good.
But yeah, I love that they're giving Chef a storyline and so many great moments come from it. Yeah, sorry I haven't been around as much. Love the end of season 1. Love the special. Action isn't as much my thing, but I don't know. It's fun.
Yeah, there's fun things to find, but I mean, just all these character derailments are just not good. Yeah, I think Chef just needed to like be a lot more involved in helping DJ. Sometimes it just feels like he's like, you gotta do this, and then DJ doesn't do it very well, and he's like, oh, don't do that, and then that's kind of that episode's thing. So we get a little more later on, but it just doesn't feel that great.
Well, he's trying to also teach him how to be manly. I mean, like that was like DJ's like thing. It was like, he's a big softie. He's a big guy, but he's like, wouldn't hurt a fly, basically. That's his whole thing. And what?
I gotta throw this out there. Tell me if you all think this would have been better. Instead of having this offer made to DJ or whatever, DJ got to witness the Chef, getting the crap into the stick to Chris, and then is like, if I win, you won't have to work here anymore. Like, I'll help you out or something. Like, because he's a good guy. And then Chef starts cheating for DJ, beknownst to DJ.
Mm-hmm.
That could, do you think that would have panned out, like, better overall? Like, where is...
I don't know. I think the good stuff really is DJ having to, like, kind of, like, struggle with the idea that someone's helping him. So I think that is, like, where the comedy is supposed to come from. Yeah, again, it's just not executed very well, so it feels like it's messed up. But I get, like, the idea that they're going for. It's just not great.
Yeah,
well,
I agree. Ryan?
I think to kind of add on to it, it's more so how fast certain storylines kind of resolve.
Right.
Because we're still like 3 episodes in, certain things are being introduced. One of the ones that kind of like lasts for a long time is, and you touched on it, Duncan continuously bullying Harold because, he got his showmance eliminated and stuff, and he holds a grudge. And that plays out throughout, while they're in the show. And Trent is like probably like the prime example of like how this storyline just kind of starts and finishes before we even get to like episode 10. Like it's made up to be like this big thing, but then it gets resolved super, super fast. And with DJ and Chef's like storyline, which it is like great that Chef got more screen time because, also, it's like there's less characters to focus on. Give Chef some more stuff. We all love the boot camp episode. That's probably like one of the best episodes.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, give him more to do. So I think it's more so they didn't do enough with it, or these storylines kind of end super, super fast. And I think that's where the fault is.
Yeah, I think they absolutely didn't execute the DJ and Chef plotline well enough. I will obviously conclude that next week, but like I think it could have been done better. I will say, I know obviously it is Chef like purposely throwing it to DJ's team, but it is also funny because like when Duncan and Izzy have their line switched and Duncan like makes Chef cry because he's paused like a sheet. He's like I thought that was funny. But yeah, so Izzy, what were you gonna say?
Bah.
Oh yeah, bah. Yes.
Bah.
It's so good. So good. All right, so yeah, Izzy loses with her old woman gangster routine, and this is going to lead to our elimination ceremony where Kaleidoscope, E-Scope, because her name is not Izzy, it is E-Scope. She is voted off for the first time this season. And again, I would have just preferred had Izzy just stayed gone this time, because I think we already had her like have 2 lives last season, and then they're gonna do that again. I feel like that's also a big flaw in this season, especially because
it's strange.
Yeah,
I'll always take more Izzy. I mean, they could have just not had her get eliminated and had her stick around longer, but I'll always take more E-Scope.
Yeah, I think that's probably the solution. Devin, what were you going to say?
Much that she returns, like, I think that, like, that's kind of Izzy's, like, the first season, she kind of was almost purple a lot, and then got, like, a crazy moment and went home, and then came back and was crazy the whole time, and then went home again. And so now we're kind of, like, anytime she's there, we know she's just a nutcase. And maybe it does get a little stale, but, like, I don't mind it funnier character.
Yeah.
Agreed. Any other thoughts on Izzy? Are we ready to hit episode 4?
I would say another thing. I mean, with how fast she just comes back, and we'll get to that episode when we do, but it's like, you blink and it's like it's almost like she didn't even leave.
Right. Yeah.
Like, if you hadn't seen this season for a while, you may have even forgotten that she got eliminated when she did.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, she pretty much just like skips 2 spouts. Like, it's so quick.
Yeah, 100%. It's a weird decision. I agree with what Brandon said. Just leave her in through the whole time. I think that's the solution. So we get to episode 4, which is of course Beach Blanket Bogus, and my line of the episode is they are making the sandcastles, and we have Harold talking about his buttresses. Which, if people don't know, that is supports on a building. So, but it's funny because with Harold, I mean, we've had this man talking about boobies, and so it just sounds funny when he says buttresses.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on this? I mean, obviously, we're gonna get more derailment from Trent too.
Well, this also starts to set up. This is where Justin starts to shine and become, you know, the power player. It's like we see him make the moves in this episode, and it's partially due to Bridget wanting to be friends with everyone, and you see, her share the friendship bracelets, and then being nervous
Bridget,
to give one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, sorry, damn it.
Y'all already talked about the Trent stuff, but I hate what they do with Trent this season. He was like a fully fleshed character in season 1 and season 2. He's just like a who's deeply whose only character trait is I love Gwen. It's very confusing.
Yeah.
And number 9.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where we get it this episode, the start of the number 9. Just out of the blue.
One
of the worst things ever.
When you brainstorm stuff, right? Like when you're doing a project of any kind, brainstorm stuff, and sometimes you have bad ideas. And usually you leave those bad ideas on the cutting room floor because you realize they were bad ideas. And it's okay to have bad ideas. This is what happens when you don't let them hit the cutting room floor. Like, you get one of the most frustrating to watch character derailments in a show that I could think of.
Like, you can tell the story of Trent throwing a challenge so Gwen, like is happy. Like you can tell that story.
Yeah.
You don't need to then like make him go fully crazy with an obsession over the number 9 because Trent and Gwen's letters in their names equal 9.
Which is not why it is. But
Yeah.
another thing is, I think what happened, someone important in the writing room suggested this idea. And everyone was afraid of their job being, lost. And so they didn't say anything to him. It's like when Kevin Feige was like, we should put Simba's hair into a ball of crap in the live action remake. No one told Feige no. No one told whoever wrote this episode that the number 9 storyline was just stupid. Don't.
Ryan's more important than me on this podcast, so I agree with that theory.
Yeah.
Thank.
It's bad. This episode also, speaking of things that will sooner or later come to fruition later on in the season, this episode sets up that Beth has a huge crush on Justin and would love Justin. This goes nowhere. Spoiler. But this was a fun idea. Like somehow this got put on the cutting room floor later in the season for another Trent likes the number 9-esque storyline.
It's the Drake meme.
Yeah, it's a weird decision. I brought it up in our Total Drama group chat of like, it's just weird that Beth is talking about wanting to like marry Justin, and then all of a sudden later on she's going to talk about having a boyfriend back home. It's like, Beth, why are you telling everybody that you want to marry Justin on national TV then?
Yeah, I never watched the show that she's based on, Ugly Betty. I wonder if that's some kind of reference to that show. That's, at some point there was a really hot person and then she was like, actually I have a boyfriend, and then that maybe was a running gag. That's the only thing that I can glean to why they chose to do that, because otherwise it makes no sense.
Yeah.
Even if it is why they chose to do it.
Yeah.
Why? Clearly that
It's like pick a lane.
Yeah, that's like what's it called whenever they go retconning stuff. Like some shows retcon things. I mean, Full House changed Jesse's name from Cochran to Katsopoulos between season 2. Nobody really recalls that, but it happens. But to do it mid-season after we've basically set up an arc for this character, and then we're like, oh no, she has a boy. He's like super.
Yeah. I mean, it should have been in episode 1. Should have mentioned the boyfriend, and then being like, oh, Justin's really hot, and then like at some point realize like, actually I'm not going to do this at some point because I have a boyfriend. But yeah, just the writers this season just
Total Dramas never show us what to
all
for
they had to
continuity, to be fair, but yeah, I get
Chris
the point.
Chris had to just stop everyone. Was like, somehow Beth has a boyfriend, and then it would have solved everything, and then they would just go forward.
Yeah, it's just a weird decision. A couple comedic moments. I think the sharks are pretty funny in the episode. Just
I love when the
random
sharks pop up.
My favorite moment is when Justin falls in the water. The shark like resuscitates him, does CPR, and then the shark just pushes Beth and Lindsay down.
They get a little break.
Yeah,
they're in their robes.
Because of Owen. Is this also the episode where Lindsay starts calling Owen Omar? So she can't remember his name, so she just calls him Omar. And then also, this is Lindsay back to asking where Tyler is every single episode.
Wait, who's Tyler?
The random jock that the whole storyline is that Lindsay forgets him, and yeah, he just sucks at everything.
Yeah, I don't remember a Tyler. So
Doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah. Oh, this season, Lindsay can't forget Tyler. Keeps having to bring up, where's Tyler? Where's Tyler? Where's Tyler?
Oh, Tyler. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
Is that the guy that picks his nose?
No, that's Homeboy.
Homeboy?
What were you saying, Devin?
I thought that this whole thing was a bit. Did you really not remember the character of Tyler?
Wait, who?
No, we know who Tyler is.
Yeah.
I think the joke.
My whole life is a bit, to be honest.
that too. No. I think the joke is that Tyler's the most forgettable character too.
He ranks popularity polls, guys.
Where is Ezekiel? They should have brought back Ezekiel. It's very upsetting.
Well, we'll see him next season.
Kind of.
Unfortunately, yeah.
We will see Gollum version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
We'll
think
see the monster he becomes.
this episode also sets up this random, like, I wouldn't even say plot, but like character quirk that Lashana like sucks at dancing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
To me, this always kind of felt out of nowhere because like she kind of like Trent dances just as horrible.
Yeah. She's
There's
shaking it,
only
you know,
so
she's
much they can do with the puppets, okay?
Yeah, Lashana's iconic dance. I mean, she does it every season. It's like and then like get down.
I love how Harold is just like, this is awesome. Just like the rose tinted glasses, just like best moves on the whole island.
I love it. Isn't this also like Harold is talking about how like he thinks Gwen and Heather are hot, but don't tell us. I mean, I guess he saw Heather's boobs.
Oh yeah.
That also is funny because like that kind of that kind of explains like why he's again so aside from like her also kind of being the outcast, but I think that's also why he wants to like be around her as well. So, but yeah, so basically. We are now going to head into episode 5, which is 3:10 to Crazy Town, and this is Trent's official elimination, the cowboy movie, and we are basically going to get that Trent and Gwen break up officially, and Trent gets seen by Justin that he's been throwing challenges, so Justin confronts Gwen and is like, hey, you owe us one, so like that the whole storyline gets set up there. And we're gonna see Trent go. Any thoughts on what goes down with this, like the breakup and everything?
I just feel like there were like interesting things they could have done. Wait, am I on mute? Yeah, I feel like there are interesting things they could have done with Trent's character, and they just were like, we don't know what we're ever gonna do with him, so they just threw him away. And after this, like, I don't even know, is he even in World Tour? I don't think he is.
Nope.
No.
This is the last time he's a contestant.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they clearly didn't know what they wanted to do with the character, but to be fair, see, this is like one of the weird things about this show that I've noticed is like they will take a character who has like almost been overly fleshed out, right?
Yeah.
Give them more and more screen time. But then you get like these blank slate characters you can kind of do whatever you want with, the Jeffs, the Bridgets, the Trents, and they literally will just like crap on them and then never give them anything ever again when they're like kind of, in my opinion, probably easier characters to come up with plot lines for because you can put them in any situation because they're like decently like intelligent people, but so you can make them like more strategic if you wanted. You could have made him be like go jealous, like make this not his elimination and make him go from being like he goes from like Gwen's boyfriend to trying to win her back to jealous. That could have been an arc we could have seen from him, but like nope, he's a weird box number 9 and he's
willing to get a G branded on his booty just for love.
God, yeah, and then I don't know. The most painful thing he went through this episode is landing directly crotch first on the fence post.
Yeah, I mean that's a callback to season 1. He had injuries like that all the time. So
exactly, that was a funny one. Also, Owen literally having to chase down the horse because it doesn't want to get flattened by Owen.
Yeah, classic Owen, comedy gold.
Yeah, and then like he's so Chris is just so amused that like with Owen's determination to get on the horse, he was like, I made it on the dot. I'm getting on this damn horse. And then Chris is like, all right, that was pretty funny. I'll give you the point.
Yeah. Yeah. If horses can bend, so can the rules.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Have you ever watched Nathan For You, where like he creates a system where large people can ride horses with Jones, like hold them up?
That was iconic. Joe actually showed me that show, introduced me to Nathan Fielder.
I introduced everyone to that show because it's so good.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
Nothing like it. Also Canadian, so kind of total drama-ish. Anyway, back to total drama.
Yeah, anyway. I love also that they have to switch the last part of the challenge because Owen drinks the water.
Yeah. And he's basically naked while doing it. He's one of those chaps and shirtless and
The plot point it was too hot outside, and so they had to they had to do the Western episode because of the heat, and then and then everyone had to shower, or not even shower. They had to take a public bath in the like barrel for whatever reason. I still don't understand. Like, why?
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. Well, and
Fan service.
we also had Lashana, like, at this point, like, she's also still told Harold she's not interested, but then she's, like, super protective of Harold as well because Duncan's bullying him. Like, obviously it's setting up, like, I think deep down, like, she actually does have feelings for Harold, clearly, in some way.
They were a big will they, won't they on the show, and...
How do you know Harold? Like, Harold's...
Yeah, Lashana fumbled the bag bad on that one. She could have had it all.
Mm-hmm.
The total package.
No, I promise you, if Harold did the juggling with the card with his booty, Shauna would have been all over it. If she was there for that, she would have been like, listen, I'm sorry, we are more than friends. I am yours. Right there on the spot.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I feel like the only thing I can say positive about this episode overall is like at least it ended the crappy storyline. Like they didn't flesh out the crappy storyline to be more crappy, and they decided to cut it short here.
Yeah.
Well, continue it for the next couple episodes.
Yeah, you do basically
talking about
still
Green sabotaging for sabotaging the challenges, wanting and seeing Duncan and tapping his head with beads, counting down. We got rid of him. We said no more of that. Like we will see in the aftermath, and he's gonna be normal again in the aftermath, and then fine.
Yeah, but I think though, like if they had more time to flesh out the storyline, that we wouldn't have gotten as crazy of the number 9 stuff. I think they just were like, "Fuck, we need to end this and like move on. So let's just like do something crazy here, so that way Trent's like out." So I wonder if it went longer, if we would have actually gotten like a proper storyline to it, but hard to say.
That is the crazy thing is, like we talk about, they had such a small cast. Then they had so many episodes they had to fill. Thing is, they had the time to fill it. They had the time to like flesh out all the storylines and stuff. And it's just like, they decided they were like, all right, we have a first half of the season. We have a second half of the season. Everything introduced in the first half gets resolved in the first half. Everything in the second half. Yeah. That's all on that end.
The vibe I get is like the creator, when he created the first season, had a very clear vision of what he wanted to do, like a parody of Big Brother and Survivor, and like he knew the storylines and what story he wanted to tell. And then they get greenlit for season 2, and like it takes a long time to animate. So you're writing these things pretty quickly so that like you can get the turnaround for the animation. And like it aired like 2 years after the first season. I don't know when it got renewed, but I imagine the writing process for season 2 was much more rushed. Like they were trying to get this done because it's one of those things where like usually the first season of a show is much clearer because the creator has a vision of what they want to make. That's the pitch. That's what they're giving. And then, season 2 is, well, let's do it again. But what are we doing now?
Right.
Yeah. I also kind of think bringing up the Big Brother thing, this season with a 14-person cast would have been a different style, but they could have went Big Brother with it, where there is no team voting. Almost like a, like an whatever they want to call it, HOH type episode, veto episode, eviction episode, and that probably out for 14 people.
Yeah, and it would have been probably easy, like really easy then to like have your villains, whoever, keep surviving because they keep winning the vetoes or the HOHs or however you want, to go home. Like just have the enemy of that person win an HOH or something like that. Like I agree. I actually think that probably would have been a right way to go, but they kind of, just try to do the same thing but different.
Yeah, he had been working on the original season, like the original show, since 2003. It was like a passion project. It took 4 years to get greenlit.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
It started as Camp TV.
Oh,
that
yeah.
one, yeah. But yeah, I mean that is crazy. All right, well, so Trent goes, and now we are gonna get the aftermath of Total Drama, and the first aftermath hosted by Jeff and Bridget, and yeah, we find out Trent, his obsession with 9 was because a wheel fell off a train. All it reminds me of is Dr. Doofenshmirtz and Phineas and Ferb with his choo-choo. So, like, I honestly, that's all I can think of.
Yeah. Yet again, like they say that, but I 100% it is because of Trent and Gwen being the names. Like that's why the writers came up with this joke, which it's a stretch to even call it a joke.
We also get like this is like where we get reintroduced to the 8 who didn't make it, and honestly, like some of them, like Noah and Eva, actually have more funny bits in this weird aftermath episode than some of the other characters that were in the actual show. Love when Eva calls in and she's like, Gwen and Trent stink, go team Eva. Like, team Eva.
Yeah. That's the one funny thing that Eva has done.
Yeah, I feel like that's the interesting thing with they were like, it's like they want to use Eva and they want to use Noah, but it's like I don't know. I don't know why we can't put them in the show. Reasons, because like they will give them a lot of stuff, like the Lashana episode and Total Drama Island were examples of like, oh, they can give both of them like some like better material.
Right.
It's just like they just choose to save it for that instead of the show until like season 3.
Right.
We also get the setup for my favorite character when she's introduced. She says, "We're gonna sue the pants off this show."
Yes. More fun.
And obviously, we got Joe's favorite characters, Katie and Sadie.
Yeah.
What I love though is that when they were showing all the characters that there, they all basically got like a clip of the first season, and they don't show any clip for Katie and Sadie. They just moved on. They were like, yeah, they had nothing.
Well, I thought it was because they shared the same frame, because of like, oh, it's 2 people, so they can't split screen it.
No, it's because they know how bad those characters are.
Agreed.
Anything ever they had poison ivy on their butt, butts in the sand. That would have.
Yeah. I love for Noah. They show him kissing Cody.
That was Noah's best.
Nibbling on the ear, whispering sweet nothings.
It's a good one.
I ship it.
Yeah. And then you have one of my favorite lines is like Jeff is like to Izzy, so how does it feel being like the first off the show? And Izzy's like, oh, I don't know. How does it feel, Jeff?
Burn. Sick burn.
We lost Devin here.
We lost Devin.
Yeah. Devin disappeared.
But yeah, I mean, any other funny moments from the aftermath?
I guess really enjoy the aftermath stuff. Like you get to see some of your friends who aren't there. They're fun little bits they do, and it's reminiscent of like the RHAP type stuff, or like the after show stuff that's online. I like that they're bringing all of it into the parody. It works for me.
Yeah, BB Unlocked kind of situation.
It gave it. It also gave stuff for like Jeff and Bridget to do. Because I'm pretty sure what might have happened. Yeah, besides make out. What happened was they thought of the cast, but they didn't know where they wanted to go with everyone. And so they were like, well, what do we do with them? Because we already kind of like signed on their voice actors.
Right.
All right, after show. And then we can fill up some episode counts. Booyah. And then I would say, like, they do get, like, a story arc throughout it. In this one, we start to see Jeff get a little hammer crazy with the hammer of truth. Anytime they tell a lie, a giant hammer would just swing and then, just yeet them across the room, being hit by a giant hammer.
Sort of down, please. Yes.
So, I have to head out. I'm just going to go ahead and give my favorite and least favorite, and then I'm going to... So, favorite for this group of episodes... Harold, and least favorite, Trent.
Perfect.
I hope
fair.
Yeah.
Peace out, bro.
I think that's going to be probably a same least favorite across the board.
Oh yeah, no, I cannot stand Trent in these episodes.
Yeah, let's just hit it now. So yeah, my favorite is definitely Harold. actually. Trent is pretty bad. I had Beth though, just because I was really annoyed by her storyline of wanting to marry Justin and knowing what she has later in the season. So, and I'm not a Beth fan. Obviously, we're gonna have to deal with her being a finalist, and technically, questionable if she's the canonical winner or Duncan is, but like we'll get there when we get there, I guess.
I'll go with favorite. I'm going to say Duncan. Duncan has some fun moments throughout this one. And least favorite, the writers.
Yeah.
The writers get that. It's funny. I was rewatching Deadpool 2, and then in the opening credits, like, the writers, the true villains of this story. And I'm like, yes, that's them this season, especially the first half.
Yeah, my least favorite also Trent. Like, he gets to season 1, he's fun. Like, he's interesting, he's kind of three-dimensional, and then they just throw him away. They're like, it's like that in Toy Story 2 when he's like, I don't want to play with you anymore. Just drops him in the trash. Really, I like Chef in these episodes. I enjoy they're giving him more to do, and like he has some funny moments.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Chef is great. I think that's awesome to give Chef a shout out. So
yeah.
Joe, who do you have as your favorite and least favorite?
Yeah, least favorite Trent. I think episodes 2 through 6 here very rough for Trent. Just probably one of the worst like grouping of episodes for a character in my opinion. And then I gotta give it love to Owen, comic gold. Okay, he's so great.
More fart jokes. Let's
Jesus.
go.
Yes,
Flatulence is never not funny.
Yeah.
Apparently, a writer refused to have his name credited for that episode because of it. He was like, straight up, no, I'm not putting my name on this thing.
You could give me 22 minutes of Owen farting, and I will say it's the best episode we've ever seen.
There are compilations online, Joe.
That man didn't want to win an Oscar.
I watched them on loop. Don't worry.
Like, the man didn't want to win an Oscar and have people look down the IMDb and be like, oh, he wrote the farting episode of Total Drama.
Yeah.
All right, well, that is the first 6 episodes of Total Drama Action. So if you like what you're seeing, what you're watching with us, discussing Total Drama, subscribe, like, share, comment, do all that good stuff. And yeah, we have so much great content going on the channel right now. So with that, we will be back next week for more Total Drama Action on the Tribe of Nerds.